Good evening. You're watching Elite News Desk. I'm Alex. Here are the latest developments. The United States military is now operationally prepared to carry out strikes against Iran as early as this weekend, according to multiple sources familiar with U.S. defense planning. However, a final order has not yet been issued by Donald Trump, who continues to weigh competing advice from military and political advisors. Sources indicate the president has privately argued both for and against immediate military action. This comes as the U.S. significantly expands its military footprint in the Middle East. A second aircraft carrier strike group is now en route to the region, a rare and costly deployment that sharply raises the stakes and signals readiness for rapid escalation if diplomacy fails. At the same time, Iran appears to be preparing for potential strikes. Newly released satellite imagery shows accelerated fortification at several Iranian nuclear facilities. Analysts report large quantities of concrete and soil being used to bury and reinforce key infrastructure, an effort to limit damage from possible air or missile attacks. Security experts say these developments point to a narrowing diplomatic window. Former U.S. Defense Advisor Seth Jones says the current military posture suggests an elevated risk of U.S. action, particularly if negotiations do not produce a breakthrough. According to Jones, any American strikes would likely be limited in scope, focused on nuclear facilities and possibly sites linked to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, rather than broader goals such as regime change. He warns that regime change would represent a far more dangerous escalation, one requiring ground forces the U.S. has shown no intention of deploying. Military analysts note that any U.S. strike would also require targeting Iranian air defense systems, many of which have been rebuilt in recent months. While Israel previously degraded Iran's defenses, experts caution that Iran has since worked aggressively to restore its capabilities, making each passing day potentially more dangerous for U.S. pilots. Meanwhile, Iran state media reports that Iran and Russia will begin joint naval exercises in the region starting tomorrow, a move widely seen as a signal of strategic coordination and deterrence. On Capitol Hill, senior lawmakers are expressing concern about the direction of U.S. policy. Democratic Congressman Jim Himes, the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, warns that recent U.S. military successes may be creating a false sense of confidence. Himes says the president may believe strikes can be conducted with minimal risk, a mindset he calls dangerous. He cautions that while airstrikes can create dramatic, visible damage, they do not guarantee long-term strategic success and carry serious risks of escalation and civilian harm. The congressman also expressed concern for Iranian civilians and protesters, noting that past U.S. encouragement of uprisings, without follow-through, has often ended in tragedy. Pentagon officials acknowledge that Iran has been actively repairing damaged facilities, restoring power, clearing tunnels, and rebuilding defenses, much of it out of view from satellite surveillance. As for timing, officials stress that no final decision has been made. But military planners acknowledge the clock is ticking. Each day that passes allows Iran to further strengthen its defenses, increasing the risks of any future operation. For now, the region remains on edge, with diplomacy fragile, military forces poised, and the possibility of confrontation growing more real by the hour. We will continue to monitor developments closely. You're watching Elite News Desk. Stay with us for further updates.